Rise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of our Patreon campaign called The Rise. We are playing Monte Cook Games, Cypher Systems, Gods of the Fall, and boy, have they. Yeah, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, check us out over on Patreon for all kinds of exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff we put over there. Link for that down below. While you're down there, join us over in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I get to do the hell I want to these wonderful players. And two, every single dollar that goes into that goes back to this channel to help us find all kinds of cool artists, editors, writers, all kinds of weird things, and hopefully eventually write me out of a job. That being said, previously on The Rise. Once inside the safety of the walled city, the group quickly realized how relative of a term safety was, and headed toward a tavern called the Abbot. The inn was more than met the eye, and after a word with the innkeep, Antares revealed a hidden room leading down to a secret hot spring hostel of sorts. Conversations were had, suspicions shared, and the small group of would-be demigods decided to split up and experience all that old Nemero had to offer. We start this scene by having Antares open the inside of a broom closet and head out to the inn proper, where she is met with the smell of cooked food, the smell of stale beer, and the din murmur of chattering from all over the bar. To paint the scene, there is a well-dressed merchant to her left with a very large, tall, and burly woman with a large sword on her back who stands ominously over him. A brightly colored hair of, I think you have a hood up, a hood covering brightly colored hair of Korax in the corner. And the door to the inn opens, and in walks a knight of reconciliation, metallic boots clanking as they step over the wooden floorboards. The room, the din of murmuring suddenly hushes to just a bare whisper as you see everyone in the room sort of look up to this man as he walks into the room. You see Korax kind of dip his head down a little bit, and you click the door closed behind you. And Terrace, what are you doing?
Not panicking, Mike, that's for sure.
No, we just hit a corruption bar. Why wouldn't we?
No, it's fine. Whew. Okay, yeah, so when she comes out of the room, and like when the door clicks, it's probably when she like looks up and sees the reconciliator standing in the door. Mm-hmm. She kind of freezes for a moment, and her hand kind of moves to her the sword on her hip, very casually, like she's just resting it there, you know, like people do.
Yeah.
And to her, like the whole murmur. Well, you said the din dies down. Yeah. Automatically. It's like silent in her ears, like, and all she hears is just the thundering of her heartbeat pounding in her, like pounding. And she slowly walks forward towards the door.
Okay. You walk forward towards the door, and within you pass the knight within about 5 feet of each other. He is walking towards the bar. You guys kind of pass, and you see that, like, as you're walking towards him, you probably get about a quarter of the way towards the door before he realizes that someone's walking towards him. And Korax, you see his head turn towards Antares, and then they continue and sort of pass, and for a second his eyes linger as he watches her go by. And you, Korax, roll me intelligence, difficulty 3.
Right, intelligence difficulty 3.
If you have any kind of assessing danger, that would help.
Not assessing danger. This doesn't seem like a true motives or lies sort of deal. So straight up intelligence.
Yeah.
Difficulty 3. That is a failure.
That is a failure. Yeah, you see his head turn and sort of follow her as she walks past, and then he continues walking towards the bar top. You see him lean towards the bar and rather aggressively reach over and sort of jab the hunched woman who is crouched behind there. You can hear the conversation, but I don't think you're too close to the bar. You can hear him like leaning forward and sort of muttering something. It's obvious that he is saying it under his breath, but you're not able to make out what is said. And Terry, as you walk by this guy, you can feel that turn and like feel his eyes on you as you walked by. But by the time he gets to the bar top, you have your hand on the door as if to exit the building.
Yeah, and she's, again, just to read it from before, she's walking with like presence now.
Mm-hmm.
Like shoulders back, head up. And so when she walks past him, she doesn't move her eyes at all to meet his gaze. And she just keeps going. And then she's listening to any kind of disturbance behind her, like any kind of shift in the air, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To say that he's like, he might be changing his course.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's nothing, she also doesn't notice Korax in the corner.
You hear like a disgruntled squeak, like, ow, ow, from behind the bar. And then you can also hear the murmuring from the two of them. It's indiscernible from your distance. And as this seems to normalize, like a conversation begins to happen, you hear that the talk in the bar sort of slowly starts to increase in volume, as in people are like, okay, he's not going to just randomly start stabbing people. Great. I'll go about my day. And yeah, you are at the door. Are you leaving or...
Yeah, she's gonna leave.
Okay. Yep. You press your hand to the knob. You turn this thing, and you exit the room. Korax, who are you focusing on?
Korax, his eyes are flicking between the Reconciliator and Antares.
Mm-hmm.
Because Antares, at the end of the last episode, had a nimbus shining brightly above her head.
She sure did.
I'm assuming that is still above her head as she exits the room.
It sure as shit is.
Korax is literally, his eyes are just darting between the two. And then occasionally, as she reaches the door, he looks around the room to see if anyone is taking notice of her, specifically her.
It seems as though no one is taking notice of her at all, other than the Reconciliator sort of turning his head as she walked by.
Yeah, he's just going to sit there quietly and hope that no eyes turn to him.
Okay, perfect. They all turn... No. Antares, you leave the building. You see that there is no drunkard passed out on the ground any longer. There is a spot where you could have seen the outline of a drunkard. And you look to your left, look to your right. You see that the moon is it's very hard to describe day and night in this place. The moon is going down. It's not as high in the sky as it was. As you know, the nightlands are perpetually in darkness, but the moon does rise and fall. The moon is sort of going down as to mark the passage of time here. Where are you going in the darkness of Old Nemero?
Well, as soon as the door closes, she like expels a very shaky breath.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had been holding her breath that entire time, and she takes a moment to kind of just catch herself, and like almost like she trying to prevent herself from like having a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And right, no more than like 20 seconds, and then she kind of squares her shoulders again, and then she's just gonna head kind of back the way they came, more towards the center of town, because she didn't see Korax sitting in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's looking for the boys.
Okay. As you exit the building, and you have that sigh of exasperated relief, like you avoided something. As you're kind of breathing out, it's almost like It's almost like that post-workout exhaustion, like the post-training scene exhaustion, right? Like something has like, oof, you feel the weight of what just happened. And for the audience, we see that the S-curved symbol above her head, the nimbus, flickers with each relief, sigh of relief, and eventually putters out as Antares saunters in. Which direction you headed? Left, right, center?
In my head, I'm going left, out the door, facing left.
Okay, so you begin to trudge down the path there. Boots.
She's walking with purpose.
Boots.
She was in a safe spot, and now she's not. All because she said, "I'm gonna go get these boys and bring them back."
Weird.
Safe spot.
You know.
Yeah.
What a terrible situation. So you begin to head down the road. We cut back into the inn that you left, the Abbot, and we focus on Corax. Hood still up, uncomfortably sat in a less than obvious position, watching the room. Corax, sup? What you doing?
Not being shady.
Clearly, not at all.
That's for sure.
Clearly.
He's just sitting there watching this reconciliator.
Okay.
He's got a couple of concerns that we have a door that leads down to where Stephanie and Arua are, and he wants to make sure that that reconciliator does not go through that door. If he leaves, Corax will leave, but as long as he's sitting in this bar, Corax is going to sit and watch him.
Okay. You see a continued exchange between the barmaid known as Gisa and this reconciliator. You see him like slide a satchel around the opposite side of where his sword is. You see him rifle through this thing. You see him slam down a stack of papers on the bar top there, the tabletop. It's probably like maybe 15, 20 pages. None of them from this distance look like any kind of... what the hell's the thing? None of thank you. None of them are indulgences. They just look like regular paper. He slams this thing down. He rummages again through this thing, and he pulls out a small satchel of coin and drops that on top of this as well. A few more words exchange. You can see from your angle that Gisa looks upset, but is trying her best to present as normal. And then this reconciliator turns and walks out.
As he leaves, Corax closes his book, gets up, walks past the bar, and walks very slowly past Gisa, has a look at the papers, looks at her, almost stops for half a second, and then just starts making his way to the door, unless she says anything.
She doesn't. She barely looks at you. You can tell that she's looking down at the paperwork. Her eyes flit up, and she scans the room, and then looks back down at these papers. And you see her take the whole stack and just sort of move it underneath, not taking the coin off, not putting the coin in a coin box or anything like that. And you are able to make your way to the broom closet. Are you being stealthier than usual, or are you just trying to be as nonchalant as possible?
Oh, he's leaving through the front door.
Oh, you're leaving through the front door. Okay, cool.
He's leaving through the front door.
Yeah, in that case, you do. You leave through the front door. And this exchange took maybe a few minutes. I wouldn't say that it was any amount of time. If Antares went in a straight line, it would be an amount of time where you could get through and still see her to the left, fading into the distance, but you would still see her to the left.
Was the market off to the left?
The market was to the right.
Shit. And which direction has the reconciliator gone?
The reconciliator is still going forward.
He's going straight. Okay.
Yep.
Corax would turn and jog to try and catch up with Antares.
Okay.
He's not trying to be stealthy about it. He's just jogging along the road
Sure.
to try and catch up.
And Terry, I feel like you're correct me if I'm wrong here, kind of lost in thought as you're like looking for the boys, as it were. It is relatively quiet here. I believe you got a. Oh, you didn't actually. You didn't get a heads up from Korax, but you know this place. You know to keep your hand, one hand on your purse and one hand on your blade, as you kind of walk. And it is maybe a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes before you begin to hear that, like, the sucking noise of boots in mud, like, quickly moving behind you, like, running towards you, in the darkness. How do you respond?
She turns and doesn't draw the sword, but she spins around and half pulls it out.
Okay.
Of the sheath.
You see Korax there. I think the jostling of the jog has slightly tilted the hood back enough so you can see the shock of red hair, as he kind of stumbles to a halt in front of you.
She breathes a sigh of relief, like,
We have problems. The other two have
No kidding.
went to the market, and I don't like him being here.
no kidding. There's a reconciliator here. You saw him?
Yeah, I was in the bar.
Oh, I didn't see you. Yes,
That's the point.
I can't. Sure. We're safe. And she'll lean in closer so she's not talking really loud. We're safe in the room. I can't guarantee our safety if we're not in the room. We have to get the other guys back. Because those reconciliators, they don't travel alone.
I've never seen them alone, so I'll take your word for it.
And she looks, I haven't seen anyone yet, but they're out here somewhere. We gotta find them.
Like I say, they went to the market. At least that's what they said they were going to go to. If you know where that is.
Yes, follow me. And she turns and heads that way.
Okay. The two of you continue on your pathway. You get to what can be considered a market, I guess, for what makes up Old Nemero. You get to a spot that is a muddy clearing. In it, there are, I believe there were 3 stalls, most of which abandoned. Now, at this hour of day, they are, it might seem as though they've closed up shop and gone home. If not for the disrepair of the remaining stalls that are there. You do see a lone woman who is at a stand who has a bunch of miscellaneous junk baubles, right? Like, this could be things that fell off. Like, Korax, especially you, who, like, more or less lived on a trading caravan. These are, like, things that might have adorned a cloak that someone cut off and is trying to sell the cut off piece of, like, plastic, essentially, like that level of, like, it's costume jewelry, and this woman is trying her best to, like, make this sound as good as it could possibly be. Seeing the two of you walk up, she stands up from her, like, hunched leaning position and looks as bright-eyed as she possibly can and sort of waves you over as if there were any other competition for stalls here in the marketplace.
Yeah, and she's walking like she owns the place.
Sure.
And she just looks around and looks at Corks. Where would they go?
I don't know, but she wants to chat.
Could I interest you in wares?
It interests me in information.
Yeah, she'll head over.
I need to rework my business. Okay. If you would like to buy anything, I perhaps have information that could help you.
Korax looks to Antares. I don't have any money.
She's gonna look down, and something specific I hope would catch her eye, like maybe like an animal carving or something like that, or
Sure.
something carved out of wood that maybe looks like an elephant or a tiger or something like that.
Are you making a reference to something that I don't know?
I'm looking for a baby gift.
Oh, okay. I was like, did we discuss something before that I just blacked out about what this is?
Well, yes, but this was like months ago.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, no, there is a carving of a let's go with an elephant. They have elephants here. They ride elephants. Let's go with a carving of an elephant. It is very poorly done. It is not like an actual like figurine of of an elephant. It is a wooden circle, like a medallion, the size of like a poker chip that someone has carved an elephant into. You think it could be an elephant. It looks like it has ears, and then it has two things that sort of go out to the side, and then one long thing that sort of goes down. And if you squint and turn it just right in the shadow, it looks like it could have been an elephant at one point.
She picks this up. What is this, an anteater?
Yeah,
or what is this?
Yeah, no, that it is. It's left up to whatever you'd like it to be.
Fine. And she reaches into her pocket and she will drop 1 moon on the.
And she the moon doesn't even have a chance to like bounce a second time. It hits and it's gone off the table. And she looks to you and says, "What information were you looking for, Miss?"
We're looking for our travel partners.
Okay.
If they came here, you couldn't have missed them. They look like they don't belong. Older man partnered with a younger man.
Oh, yes, they were very kind. They're considering buying the merchant stall next door.
Interesting.
You see one that's like dilapidated. One of the signposts is like slightly side, like the canopy is like off tilt. Yeah, they came by. They were interested in setting up shop here to help the market grow. And then they came back. They were asking about children.
Children?
Yes, they came back with a very sad woman, and they were asking about children that were playing over there. And I told them that there were children playing there, and that one of them left with a man.
And where did they go?
The children or the man or your friends?
I don't care about the children or the man. I care about where my friends went.
Oh, they went that way, which is where the child and the man also went. I think they're looking for them.
Before she finishes the sentence, Korak says, "Thank you," taps her table, and just starts walking in that direction.
Okay. Korax, roll me intelligence difficulty. We'll say difficulty 4. If you have any kind of navigation skills, it would apply here.
None whatsoever, but I'll spend some effort.
Okay.
1 effort. I want to do 1 effort. Let's go crazy and let's spend 2.
Okay.
Success.
Okay. You begin to trudge off in this unfamiliar city, in the vague direction that was pointed to you, and you get to the edge of the market, and you realize that if you continue this path, you're going to intersect with the direction that the Reconciliator went in. Like, if he went straight from the bar, you're coming at the same direction from an angle.
I think he's more concerned about Mina and Seydlitz.
Okay.
Mina more than Seydlitz.
Okay. Understandable. Are you, Antares, are you chasing after him, or are you... What are you doing? You are muted.
Sorry. She will drop another moon on the table and quickly follow him.
Okay.
Just like a tip for the woman.
Sure, yeah. So yeah, the two of you make off in that direction. You're no longer, I mean, you're on a road in the sense that it's not walking through houses. It's like alleyways and back passages. You're not on one of the main roads. That is to say, not that Nemero is paved at all. But you are kind of weaving between tents and houses and small squat buildings and that kind of thing in the general direction that she pointed you in. Are you walking in silence, or are you? How does a walk look?
Walking quickly, and I imagine in my head. I imagine Antarian is taller than Korax, so she has a longer stride than he does.
Sure.
And still got her arm or her hand on the hilt of her sword, and she's gonna be talking quietly so her voice doesn't carry. It's like, do they do this often? Do they just wander off trying to help random people?
We followed an old man who found us in a bar and then helped a woman have a baby. And then we
Jeez.
walked with them for a long way.
Ugh, by the dragon. And she like just keeps going.
Korak stares at her as she says, by the dragon.
Well, because she wouldn't say, "Oh my god," right? Like,
Yeah,
No, she
Trying to
wouldn't, but
trying to think of an
especially
appropriate,
especially in the Nightlands. It's not an.
Yeah.
I would say it's not an uncommon phrase. Just given the given the stakes, I can assume. Whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, the two of you continue walking. Again, no real sense of any kind of direction, just sort of hoping to stumble upon your friends, it seems. And as you do so, the camera cuts to the other two, equally stumbling in a vague direction, looking for a child, to whom they have barely a description for, and no clues other than he went that way. Mina, Seydlitz, you guys navigate through similar alleyways and back passages around houses. What are you two doing?
Mina's more following Seydlitz because Seydlitz is the tracker.
So he says.
If anyone's going to find the kid, it's the old man.
Probably would have brought the woman along to have her tell me what the kid actually looks like.
That wouldn't. It makes sense in hindsight, but I do believe that you did not do that.
I'm pretty sure Mina told her to go back and wait in
Yes.
case the kid came back.
Yep.
Oh. Dang it, Mina.
Also sensible. So how are you tracking, Seydlitz?
Well, I guess I'd probably be looking for tracks, seeing if I can spot like local kids that I could ask, or just kind of keep my ears to the road, see what I can find.
Okay. Roll me a difficulty 4 tracking check. It would be intelligence based.
Following identifying tracks, I guess that doesn't count.
That absolutely counts.
Difficulty 4. Success.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you are heading back around these bends, these buildings, and you see a lot of footprints, kind of going all over the place, right? From anyone passing by, anyone in the alleyways. You've seen kids walking in the alleyways, some shady people walking in alleyways. What catches your eye, and is kind of that like, perhaps like almost parental spark of fear, right? You've fought monsters. You fought beasts of varying sizes, and you've recently fought your way through some pretty dark shit. But this is the first time that sparks a little bit of fear in the heart of Seydlitz. You notice a set of footprints, and the only reason you notice it is because you notice 2 sets of footprints side by side, and then the next step is 1 set of footprints and a set of dragging feet. And that is what catches your eye. That is a change that you were not expecting to see. And whether that's the kid or not, that seems as though somebody could be in danger. And since you're on the trail of the kid, that's kind of where your mind jumps to. Yeah, that's what you see. You see this footprints go from 2 sets to a set and a drag mark.
Say he's gonna stop and point this out to Mina. Like, hey, look at this. Someone's been dragged here.
How can you tell?
See how the markings? It's 2 sets of footprints here, and then you've got 1 set, and these. Basically, you got these lines.
That doesn't sound good.
No,
Should
it
we
doesn't.
follow it? Where's it
I
going
believe
to?
so.
It is going in the same direction you guys are walking. So are you heading at the same pace? Are you quickening your pace? What are you guys doing? Approaching stealthily? What's your plan here?
Probably heading at the same pace, moving a bit slowly. So if you run too fast, you might outrun the tracks
Okay, cool.
without noticing.
Cool. one success is all it takes. You are following this path. Every once in a while, you lose sight of the drag marks, which makes it kind of hard to pick them up again. Perhaps the whatever was being dragged was hoisted. You're not entirely sure, but you do find them, and you're able to follow them. And as you do, I would assume it's probably Mina, right? Because Seydlitz is focusing on the ground. Mina, you are kind of the eyes up guardian. And you look, and in the distance, you begin to see a taller than the rest building. Not quite so large and tall as to be confused with one of the mansions that are here, but it is a building taller than the rest, probably lost in the skyline the further back you go, but now where you are, it is visible. It is... from what you can tell, it's a large, like, squarish building that has parapets and like a large what you can see right in front of you is 3 large pointed almost towers. 2 of them, the one on the left and the right, are shorter, and the one in the center is the higher one. It seems as though you are headed in that direction. Like, if you keep going straight, you'll hit that building. And as far as you can tell, based on what Seydlitz is sort of dictating, that looks like the course you're taking.
Yeah, Mina will kind of tap Seydlitz on the shoulder and point it out to him. Is that where it's probably going?
Say it's going to take a finger to the tracks and just kind of follow it from what he can see. Does it start pointing towards this big building?
Yeah, it looks like it goes around different buildings, but it as far as you can tell, you've been going in a fairly linear pace. And if it continues that way, then yeah, it will land at this building.
More than likely. Honestly, I mean, whoever we're following is pretty sloppy about hiding themselves. Maybe they're just used to it.
Or they're scary enough that they don't need to hide themselves. Should we come in from a different angle? It's not like we're going to lose that building.
Yeah. You want to find a vantage point?
Yep. Mike, I assume there's like a back way to this building that we could probably find?
You're imagine like a city with like plenty of alleyways, right? You can navigate your way around, and this is a building that's taller than the rest around you, so you're not going to lose it. So would you like to come in if what you're looking at is like the entrance, right? Would you like to come in from the left side or the right side or the back?
Probably the back.
Okay. Yeah, you guys break off, you navigate your way around. Takes a couple minutes because you're not familiar with the lay of the land, but you're able to get there, and you're able to see how close do you get to this building?
Probably Mina would be heading straight towards it unless Seydlitz stops him.
Okay.
Seydlitz would probably look for, like, if there's a back entrance and maybe find a nearby building he can get a top off to see. Just get a visual distance of the area.
Sure. You can get a top building. It's probably like a squat hovel or like a small shop that used to exist there. But the buildings are all one story, and this large building is multiple stories. So you're able to get on top of a roof. Are you looking for anything particular, Seydlitz?
It's like any entrances, doors, store AC, air duct grates,
Sure.
basically open windows.
Gotcha. Okay.
And guards.
Roll me intelligence 3. Searching, observation, that kind of thing would help. I'll even say assessing danger.
I have
help.
that. Wrong button. Difficulty 3. And that's a fail.
So you pop up on the roof and you're kind of looking around. And as you're like looking at the skyline, you're looking at different buildings. You're kind of like examining the building as the night gets darker. Mina continues towards the building, having not been stopped by Seydlitz. Mina, do you go right up to the building, or what's your plan?
Probably get as close to see if there's windows he can kind of wander past and look
Sure.
in.
Yeah. So I'll say in the time that Seydlitz was climbing a building and sort of setting up his vantage point is the time it took Mina to get to that range, that distance, right? And together, you notice that this is or was a temple. This is a church of some kind. There are now you've kind of rotated around it. All four of the corners of the building have the same kind of parapet, ending in a point, and the large one in the center is actually towards the center of is actually towards the front of the building. From what you guys can both guess, it's a tower. It's like a bell tower, you would assume, of some kind. Mina, you are closer and you can see that there are windows or parts of windows that line the left and right side. There is one window on the rear where you are approaching from, but you can see that they used to be stained glass windows. Now you can see the window framework is just mostly shattered. There's a few pieces of stained glass still in there. And you both see sparks start happening in there, like as if someone is and Mina, because you're closer, you hear that like clack 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 of someone trying to spark something with either a spark stone or flint and tinder. You see sparks kind of exploding in there every once in a while. From your point, Mina, you see that there is still a window. It is over a small door in the rear. This window is not shattered. Yeah, that's all you guys see at this moment. What are you doing?
Well, Seydlitz hasn't seen Mina all the way up to the building. He's going to climb down and get over to him.
Okay.
Thinking, wait, why didn't I stop him?
Yep. In the meantime, Mina, what are you doing?
Mina will just walk up to the back door and just knock loudly.
Perfect. As you walk up to the back door, I need you to roll me a might difficulty 4. I guarantee you don't have any skills that are going to help you in this. Okay. As you, the heroicism overtakes you as you begin to walk towards this building, and you put your hand on the door, and perhaps it's that stealing breath, like before you're about to kick the door in and throw accusations or swing out a spear, you take that like stealing breath, and as soon as you breathe it in, you want to vomit. You want to retch out whatever you've eaten for the last several days. I will let you narrate how this goes. Either you vomit or you're able to like steal yourself, however it is. Either way, you don't open the door immediately. Your hand is still on this thing, and you can feel that like boiling in your stomach as if whatever is in you wants to come back out. How does Mina respond to this?
Yeah, Mina turns around to vomit almost immediately, realizes Seydlitz is behind him, and takes a few steps past Seydlitz to the side of the building and just...
Oh, if Seydlitz sees you start vomiting, he jumps back.
Yeah. Are you?
He takes a step back.
Are you doing your best to quiet the retching, or are you just full on drunk frat vomiting?
Yeah, Mina wouldn't give it any consideration. He would just be, puking up his guts.
Perfect. Perhaps it is Mina's vomit that slows you, Seydlitz, that jump back, but you smell it as well. You didn't take as big of an inhale as that, but you smell this. It's a sickly, sweet, like garbage smell. You would know what this smell is. This is the smell of decayed meat. This is the smell of someone who's left their storehouse too long or unprepared in the season, and whatever they've killed as food for their family has gone bad.
Having realized that and seeing me, he just kind of pats me on the shoulders like, hey, quiet that down. It's going to be okay.
Mina's eyes are watering. He kind of wiping away what he can from his mouth, and I don't know how to quiet vomiting. How do you quiet vomiting?
Yeah,
That's
it's
putrid
already
in
over,
there.
so it doesn't matter now. Yeah, I smell it too. That is not a lovely smell, but I know it a little too well.
Do we go in? I can't imagine anyone's living in there.
Well, to me, it smells like someone has a really bad store policy for meat, and we have missing kids.
When you say those two sentences, you see Mina go white, and he turns and vomits again.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then he looks back at Seydlitz. You can't be serious.
I'm only just making a reasonable suggestion. We don't know for sure.
Then we've got to get in there. That kid was taken yesterday. It could already be lunch, breakfast, all of the above. And Mina will just straighten up and head for the door again, ready to kick it in.
Okay. Yeah. If no one stops you, roll me a might difficulty 3 to kick this door in.
Say thinks about stopping him, but then decides not to.
It's fair. Would you like to spend an XP to re-roll?
No, I think that after the vomiting, Mina doesn't have the strength in him that he thought he had. So he kind of lines up the door and does a very, very bad attempt at kicking it in and barely shifts it in any direction.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of walk up, you kind of like get your weapons kind of ready, and you lean back, boom, you kick towards the handle, hoping to the amount of force will bust this door off the hinges. Unfortunately, this seems to be a fairly well-made building here. This door especially, as you are reverberated off of the door. You are rebuffed. Seydlitz, you see this embarrassing attempt at heroics. What you choose to do with that is up to you.
Seydlitz actually gets an idea for this. Hey, Mina, go over there. Go over there and just hide for a minute. Seydlitz is going to try and make a lot of noise, and he's assuming the door is locked.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to see if he can lure someone out.
Okay, what are you doing to make noise?
Basically, I'm going to be very loud banging on the door, and then I'm going to, for a little bit, and when I think someone's coming, I'm going to run over and, try to hide.
Okay.
And then when they come out, ambush them.
Okay. Yeah, you can make a bunch of noise. Yeah, you for sure can. You begin grabbing whatever's around, right? Like smashing bottles and rattling things and shouting perhaps to do your best attempt at startling these people out of their hiding place, as it were. You hear in response to your noise. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna GM intrude because I forget to use this mechanic all the damn time. So I'm gonna do a GM intrusion here. The GM intrusion, and you can say yes, and I will give you an XP, and you get to give one to someone else, or you can say no and spend an XP to stop me from doing this. You begin to make noise, and you quickly find out that you are not the only person watching, and in fact, you are being watched this whole time. So you can either spend an XP to stop that from happening, or you just take the XP and deal with the consequences.
All right, Mina, you want an XP?
Yeah, we'll need them.
Okay. So you take an XP. It sounds like you're giving one to Mina. You begin to shatter glass. You're making noises, bang, pow, pow, making all this like pots and pans rattling. And you hear, perhaps it is your keen senses, but for a second you thought you heard, like, on the wind, the creak of the bell tower. And as you, like, just enough to, like, stop, like, whatever you're about to smash, you hear this whistle, this thin whistle coming at you. And as soon as you go to, like, throw this thing, 2 arrows right into the ground, right where you were standing. They seem to have come from the bell tower. What do you do, Seydlitz?
Seydlitz gonna look up and take a pretty hard look at, like, are they continuing shooting, or are these warning shots?
As you, like, lower your arm with whatever you're holding and you look, in the time it takes you to, like, focus on the bell tower, 2 more of them land right where Mina is standing. They appear to be warning shots.
Well, there goes the fun way of getting in.
Mina's got his shield up almost immediately and probably running in to cover Seydlitz.
Okay.
And just kind of looks at him and says, are we still going in?
Yeah, probably. Let's find it. Is there, like, a window we can smash in?
There's a bunch of smash windows on the side.
Can we just go through one of those?
You sure can. As you guys, so Mina, you kind of run in, shield up, to kind of cover you and Seydlitz. This exchange sort of happens, and you start moving towards the building. I will need a speed defense roll from both of you. If you are staying in lockstep, I will give a bonus to Seydlitz for Mina's protection, so a bonus of 1. But either way, I will need a speed defense. It is going to be difficulty. Let's see here. It's going to be difficulty 2. Mina does not succeed.
I am going to try to stick with Mina if we're in combat.
Okay.
I don't have speed defense.
Just roll speed then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a 20.
Okay, great. So on a 20 in this system, you can't do any damage because it was a defense roll. What major effect? I will say, as a suggestion, Mina is about to hit with arrows. You can do something to assist Mina in not getting hit with arrows.
That's what my eyes, assisting Mina in not taking a hit.
Okay, cool. So you have stuck close to Mina, and you're kind of benefiting from his shield. But in doing so, you see that he has left himself a little bit more open than you, perhaps. And as those arrows come in, you're able to, like, pull him to you. And the arrows that would have, like, dug into him now hit his shield instead. And you guys are able to quickly... are you just jumping through a window? What are you doing?
Well, Mina would go first.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of together at that point. But yeah, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, Mina will just shield first, launch through a window.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of smash through this window. Not enough glass to shatter, but a few pieces of, like, the wooden framework sort of splinter in with you. And I assume, Seydlitz, you kind of come tumbling behind as well. Is that correct?
Yep. Okay.
As you guys smash into this cathedral, the camera cuts back to Korax and Teres. You guys are wandering aimlessly through alleyways. How's that going?
Not aimlessly. We're wandering very purposely.
Okay, that's true. You are wandering purposefully through alleyways. How's that going for you guys?
Could be better.
Korax definitely cannot be tracking anything. He's just walking in the direction he was told.
Perfect. And Teres, what about you?
Yeah. Can I don't have any tracking skills, but can I see if I can we didn't ask the woman how long ago they had been. So can I see if there's any fresh tracks on top of the miasma of tracks that are already here?
Yeah, you can roll me an intelligence difficulty 4.
Okay, that's it. Roll. Let's go. Success.
You succeed. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, you do. You see that there are fresh footprints. You have no idea how fresh they are, right? Like, you're not that skilled. You just notice them. They're slightly deeper, and like the ground, like the mud around them is still wet, as if they were just recently sunken in. I would say,
and they're also like two pairs walking next to each other too.
Yeah. They're two pairs either walking next to each other or just close enough. Like they seem to be about the same depth in the ground, and the mud around them seems to be about the same level of wetness. Meaning it's recent, but you have no idea how recent. Could have been an hour, could have been 2 minutes. You're not entirely sure.
Yeah, so she's gonna point down to Korax, point out the tracks. Like, I think this is them. Follow these ones, and she's gonna keep walking.
Okay.
And I have a do I have a question? I have a question.
Okay, sure.
Would I eventually hear that ruckus that Seydlitz is making?
Yeah. So after spending a few more minutes, right? It was the amount of time it takes them to kind of navigate around the back way of this temple. You begin to hear. It sounds like a street fight, or like cats in heat. You're not entirely sure. Like raccoon knocked over a trash can, but you hear like glass shattering, like metal banging, crates breaking, that kind of thing happening. It's a cacophony of noise, as if something's happening in one of these like densely packed alleyways. And it seems to be coming. It echoes, but it seems to be coming vaguely from in front of you. That's where you can kind of hear the noise all around, but the most dense noise comes from in front of you. You can assume the direction you're kind of going in.
Okay, so am I familiar with this church then? If I've been to Nemero before?
Yeah. You know what? I will say yes. You are familiar in the fact that there is an old church here. In fact, you know that this is a church to this is a pre-fall church, obviously, and this one is to Verichoco, the god of magic.
Okay.
Verichoco, I think is what it is. But yeah, you are this is a defunct temple to the god of magic. And you know it exists here. It hasn't been used since the fall. But you know that it exists.
Okay.
Does that help you in any way?
She will point out to Korax and let him know that, I don't know,
that there is a church.
Yeah, it's a church up ahead.
As you sort of point to it, you guys can see the outline of the temple. Like, you see the same thing that Mina saw, was like the two parapets on either side and the large one in the center. And you can continue to hear that noise. And then all at once, the noise abruptly stops. It doesn't like peter out, it just stops.
Okay. And how far away are we from it?
It's hard to tell because you're weaving through buildings. And if you were taking the road, not far at all. But because you're taking these back ways, it could take you any number of minutes because of the wending the way through all these different alleys. I mean, unless you break into a sprint, and then that sort of drastically reduces the amount of time it could spend.
She'll kind of slow down and look at Korax. What do you think?
Do you know what god this is a temple to?
Magic. I don't know his name or their name or whatever.
Verichoco. That's not a good thing.
Why?
He's the reason that the average person can do magic. Which means he was pretty powerful. If anything of his is left in there. Who knows what those people in there are doing with it. There may be nothing. It may just be a church for worshipping him and we may just be looking at an empty building, but
What, like the final clave worshipping?
from what what is his name? From what Gelvin said, the final clave were just finding people who were powerful, people who would have magic and sacrificing them.
Well, it looks like these tracks are heading that way.
Mike, would Korax have figured out, you mentioned it earlier, but would Korax have figured out that the Reconciliator would kind of potentially be on a crossing path with us?
Yes.
In which case Korax would say to Antares, I mean, the Reconciliator was heading this similar direction. We may cross his path as well. So we need to catch up with the others. If, for all I know, he's detoured and heading to that same temple.
Okay. And she will break into a jog.
Okay. Korax, I assume you follow? Okay. So the two of you begin jogging. As you spend a couple seconds jogging, you hear a clatter of wood splinter ahead of you. Not nearly as loud as the cacophony of city raccoons, but you do hear this sort of smash, this smashing noise as you sort of sprint towards this building. We cut back to Mina and Seydlitz, who have landed, I assume, down on Mina's shield as you kind of tuck and bash into the side of this building and sort of spill into the interior of the church. As the two of you regain your footing, it is very quick for you to see where the smell was coming from. This is probably the worst thing that Mina and Seydlitz have ever seen. This pales in comparison to anything you've seen in Corso. This pales in comparison to anything you've seen before Corso. There are piles of corpses in this room. In various stages of degradation. There are large poles erected inside of this building that also have corpses rotting, hanging by the wrists from them. You see that there is, at the back end where the back door would have been, there is an altar. Your best guess is it is probably the original altar. However, now it is completely profane. There is a body on the altar. This body is also dead. And you see that there is a large stack of Seydlitz, you might see these as they're like beast cages. Like if you were to catch a wild animal and bring it in to sell a wild animal to someone in Corso or something like that. These are large cages, and in them are people. They are seemingly alive. However, most of them are not moving. What you can see in the increasingly dim light, especially inside now, is that they look emaciated. You don't see anyone, and whoever was sparking that fire doesn't appear to be in here at the moment. However, the reeking stench of death is all around you, and it is cloying at your nostrils. What are the two of you doing?
Is there anywhere that would be obviously a set of stairs or ladder leading up to the tower?
Do you head down towards the front of the building?
Yeah, if there's no obvious way up there, Mina will head
Is this an enclosed room?
Yeah, you're inside of a building.
Well, is there only say the back door and maybe one other door, two other doors that we could barricade?
Yes, the back door and the front door is all you've seen. The front door is a large wooden double door. The back door is the single door that Mina tried to kick.
Okay, so I can't lock the people out who are in the bell tower out.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
But you do see Mina sprint towards the front where the bell tower is. You see that on either side of the door, Mina, inset into the wall, there are two sets of stairs that kind of go up. They sort of meet at a mezzanine kind of thing. And in the back of the mezzanine, you see there's a ladder that leads up to the bell tower.
Mina will just look at Seydlitz and say to him, get them out while I watch for these archers.
Okay.
Break the ladder.
Okay. Mina, you begin to. Are you climbing the ladder? What are you doing?
So you head up to a mezzanine, and then there's a ladder.
Yeah. So there's two sets of stairs. There's a mezzanine, and the forefront of the mezzanine, like right above the door, there's a wooden ladder that goes up to the bell tower.
Mina would be kind of under the archway next to the ladder, with your shield kind of just keeping an eye for anyone coming down the ladder.
Okay. You can see that the ladder goes, it's in like open room for about the first like 10, 12 feet. And then once it gets above that, you're basically in like a tube that climbs up to where the bell tower is. You assume it opens up there. So if you were to climb it, it would be a straight shot down to pepper you with arrows. But you're able to get to the bottom of it, kind of hold the shield up there, and watch out the sides if anyone is coming in or out of that ladder area. Seydlitz, we cut back to you. Mina just shouted for you to free them. What are you doing?
I'm shelling back at Mina to break the ladder.
Yep. Okay, so he runs over there. He gets to the ladder. Are you trying to free the people in cages? What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm gonna assess the room first. Like, there are people who are, you say some are emaciated, some are you moving. I'm gonna assess like who is even possibly savable.
It seems everyone in the cages are savable. I guess it depends on what your definition of savable is. They all seem to be alive.
Like, who can get out on their own or move around?
Until you open the cages, you're not really sure. Most of them are sort of laying down. The cages are, imagine like a large dog kennel, right? So the cages are only like 4 to 5 feet wide by 4 to 5 feet tall. They're not very big. So most people are sort of huddled down or laying down. There are a few people that are at the bars now that you've clattered into this thing. There's a couple people that look too weak to even pull themselves to the bars. Like they'll need help being moved out of this place. And as you're kind of assessing this, you see that there is a small child. He's probably 9 years old, kind of dirty, mud-covered clothes, and you see that he is missing a shoe, and he is at the bars, like, staring at you.
I see him, and I walk up to the cage. It's like, hey, kid, can you help me? I can get you out, but I need your help.
I'll do whatever you need, mister.
Get these let you get these cages open.
I don't have the keys. Do you have a key?
Oh, crap. I think they're up at the top of the bell tower with those assholes. Can I break the lock?
You could try. Do you have some kind of tool to break a lock, or are you just gonna try to smash it?
Let me see. I have 3 spikes. I have a hammer in my adventure pack. And 3 spikes. Okay.
I will... A hammer and 3 spikes. Okay, yeah. I will give you an asset to try to break these locks. It's going to be a might difficulty 4 with 1 asset.
And I'm going to apply effort to roll.
Okay. Jesus. Okay, yeah.
That's a 20.
Cool. Yeah, so you kind of take this little, this climbing spike, you smash it with the hammer, the lock splinters open, clink, clatters to the ground, the kid is free. What would you like for your major effect? I could say
with this major effect, I can't have a key magically appear.
No, if you'd like a suggestion, I will say that the major effect can be that the kid can replicate that. Like, he can take the spike from you and the hammer and start opening the cages.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, he looks to you like, you just smash that with a hammer, like you must be super strong. He takes it from you, and he goes to town, smashing those other locks. While he's smashing the locks, what are you doing, Seydlitz? Are you watching
I'm
him?
gonna go to the back door and assess if I can get it open.
Yeah, there is a piece of wood across the crossbar. You can easily lift that up and open the back door.
I'm lifting it up and opening back
Okay.
door, and I'm gonna look out, see if there's anyone outside.
Okay, you lift the crossbar, you open the door, you see the noise of all you see the remains of all the things you're using to make noise. You see that there are several arrows in the ground, but there is no one back there. While you're kind of looking out, scanning the area, we cut back to Mina. Mina, you are at the base of the bell tower. You are holding a shield above your head. There has been no movement, at least over the hole where the ladder is. What are you doing? You did hear that loud clatter behind you, and it seems as though Seydlitz is doing what you asked and smashing the crates open.
Are we in the sort of like main area of this place of worship?
As far as you can tell, this appears to be the only area.
So there's a set of doors to the front?
Yes, below where you are, underneath the mezzanine.
Yeah, so Mina will race down to those doors and try to open them up as well.
Okay, yeah, so you leave the mezzanine, you head down there. There is no crossbar on these, and you just freely open the door. And for funsies, I'm going to take that corruption bar, and you open the door. You kind of throw both of the doors open, and you see, with serendipitous timing, you see approaching from the building side, a red-haired and muddy Corax and Teres coming towards you, and you see you see somebody in a robe, with a conical hood that ends in a large skull, and you see that there are 5 people walking behind them, and they are, as you kind of like look. In the second you have to kind of assess what the hell's going on, the 5 people behind him, or behind them, seem to be holding a large person aloft, as if one is holding one arm, each arm, one is holding each leg, and there is a 5th person sort of at the back of this thing. They seem to be leading a procession towards you.
Mina will do a definite double take between Corax and Teres and the group, and quickly shut the doors and try to find a way to lock them.
Okay. So Corax and Teres, you see the door open. As you make eye contact with Mina, you all see that procession walking towards you, and then you see the door slam in your faces, and then a scuffle of noise behind the door. Unfortunately, Mina, you can't see this, but Corax and Teres, that was seen by the procession as well. And you see the conical hooded man sort of reach over his shoulder, look back, and sort of motion, and the 5th man, who wasn't carrying anything, sort of runs towards the front of the door. In the meantime, Mina, you're trying to close this door in some way. Yeah, there is a large wooden beam that would fit as a crossbar in this. However, usually it is a 2+ person lift, so if you'd like to lift this thing, it would be a might difficulty 4 strength based check. Whew, okay. Yeah, so you find this crossbar, and with lightning speed, you sort of grab it by the as far out as you possibly can, lift this thing and hoist it onto the door. And with perfect timing, because as soon as it clicks into place, into the stanchions into place, the door begins to bang as someone tries to open this. That sort of throttling noise of the door sort of echoes throughout this temple here. And we cut to Corax and Teres. You are on the opposite side of this scuffle. You have not been seen yet. What are you doing?
Like we've seen we see this guy with the conical hood and the
Yep.
skull face
Yep.
and his procession behind him.
Yep.
With the paraphernalia, that's pretty evident, his skull and the conical hood. Does Korax know what god they worship? Are they worshipping a god? An old god, that is.
I'll say this. For free, nothing comes to mind. If you'd like to roll, it will be a difficulty 4, godly knowledge-based roll.
Yes. Knowledge of godly beings. But it's definitely not Veracocho.
No.
No bonuses. Difficulty 4. I'm going to spend 1 effort on that as well. A success.
There is no god
Yes.
that you are aware of that is worshipped in this manner. Not even a death god.
Can I roll
Uh,
something to see if it's familiar to me?
Would it be familiar to you? No. It is not familiar to you. No need to roll. You've never seen this before.
Korax slows in his movement,
Mhm.
realizing that these people do not worship a god. He looks to Antares. These people do not worship Veracocho or any god that I know of. At least, they don't look like they do.
Yeah, and she's kind of she's like kind of against the wall, so they're kind of in a shadow, and then she'll pull Korax into the shadow as well. Do you smell that?
Yeah. Do we do smell it? I'm assuming,
Mhm.
Mike, we're
Yeah,
close
yeah.
enough.
Yep, safe to assume.
And people live close to this. They must have defiled this temple.
What the hell are Mina and Seydlitz doing in there? I didn't see Seydlitz, did you?
Nope. Knowing Mina, someone was in trouble. He went
What
running
are-
to save them.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's going to be his MO.
Pretty much is.
And what's the priest and the 4 guys carrying the body? What are they doing?
You see that there must have been some kind of communication because the other 4 have lowered the body to the ground and they have flanked the building. 2 went on one side, 2 went on the other side, and now that they have left and you're seeing the body on the ground, the conical hat, and the other person banging on the doors, you can see that clear as day in the light of Nod. That is a not moving body of a Knight of Reconciliation.
Shit. Yeah, she'll peek around the corner, almost do like a double take, and like do like a really like a long stare as she realizes who it is. And then she'll look back at Korax. Look at the body.
He notices as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's hard to miss once the people have cleared out.
That's your friend from the bar.
what?
You guys shared a nice glance as you walked past each other in the bar.
She kind of turns on him. What are you talking about?
You didn't notice him watching you as you left?
Yeah, I noticed him. What's your point? You think because he was looking at me that I'm his friend? Her voice raises a little bit.
Both frequent the same bar. He was paying them, giving them stuff. Discussion for another day. For now, we have to
What
save
is-
Nina.
What is the priest doing again? Sorry?
He's standing there.
Is his back to us?
Mhm.
I don't know what to do. Okay, she's going to move towards the priest.
Okay. Are you describe how you move towards the priest?
It's still all mucky and gross, so there's
Mhm.
no way I'm sneaking up on him.
I mean, you can try to be as
Or-
quiet as possible.
Yeah, she's not a quiet person. That's the thing. Does he
Corax
look
has
okay?
annoyed
Well,
her. So she's annoyed.
she wants to walk up to this guy and drive her sword through his chest.
Directly into his spine. To
Yeah,
death.
that's what she wants to do.
Okay. Well, let's see if that happens. So
Fuck
far,
me.
you rolled terribly in combat. Is that what your plan is, to draw your sword and attack this guy?
Oh no.
Yikes.
Big fucking yikes. I don't know. Does he look like he's armed? I know he's wearing a robe.
As far as you can tell, he does not. He doesn't have a weapon.
Okay. But he could have magical powers from what? Maybe. I don't know.
Hard to assess sorcery.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, she's gonna walk towards him.
Okay. Weapon drawn or no?
She will draw it once she's close.
Okay. Corax, what are you doing?
Corax is standing on the corner. Are they within shouting distance of Corax?
I'm sorry? Corax stands within shouting distance from Corax?
No. Are they within shouting
Oh,
distance
yes.
of Corax?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
reaches them.
For sure.
Okay. Corax is going to stand on the corner, hoping that the others at the door do not pay him much mind. And he, assuming that Antares is going to do something crazy, he's hopefully riled her up enough to kill this guy. He's basically just readying himself to perform a blessing of the gods.
A runaway? Oh.
Not yet. He's hiding.
Okay.
Close enough. Yeah, he's just being ready to sort of protect Antares should she need it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you do that. You get in like a ready stance. You kind of bolster yourself maybe against the wall and get ready to spring into action. And Teres, you are walking up this thing, so weapon drawn. You see the body of the Knight of Reconciliation, and perhaps it is morbid curiosity, perhaps it is, just a cloying need to know, but as you walk up towards the man, the person in the conical hat, you glance down and you see, despite an inability to move, the eyes of the Reconciliator look towards you. This person is alive, seemingly unable to move, seemingly unable to speak. Their eyes dart left and right, and you can see their expression is of panic as you draw your blade. What are you doing?
She draws her blade and she comes up behind him. She is going to grab this priestly individual.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how she was planning on grabbing Seydlitz before. Arm around the neck and then sword up to the throat.
Okay. Yeah, so you... so in the way that you kind of grab him, it like sweeps the hood back, right? And you reveal the slicked back hair of a man. You can't really see what his face is because you came up behind, but the conical hood and skull piece clatter to the ground next to the face of this reconciliator as you kind of sweep the hair back, draw the blade across his throat, and kind of hold it there. You feel something like clatter and jingle against your arm as you kind of draw it across, as if this person has some kind of necklace or medallion on their person. What do you do?
She's holding him very firmly, squeezing around his neck, just to kind of prove her point a little bit, and she's gonna whisper very menacingly in his ear, "Call your men off."
You feel the head sort of turn against your arm, almost like raking the blade across its own neck, and you feel, because you're like up on there, right? You feel like hot on the cheek, this just raspy voice, "No." And as soon as the words leave the mouth, Korax, I need you to make me a difficulty 2 speed defense roll.
That was difficulty 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speed. Here we go. No.
Okay, perfect. You take 3 piercing damage as an arrow shoots out of seemingly nowhere and sinks itself into your chest.
3 off the speed. Okay.
Call it off. Whoever you have inside, bring them out.
Call your men off, and I will get them out. You can continue doing whatever the fuck it is you do here. And she's gonna push the blade.
Okay.
Call them off.
Okay. He doesn't rebuff against the blade. In fact, he again sort of like leans into it, and you can feel that his left arm, the one outside of your range, essentially, is reaching up towards his chest, like perhaps to grab your arm, perhaps to grab the blade, but it's just reaching up towards like his neck and face area.
Then she's gonna push it because she doesn't know what's going on inside, right?
No.
So she's gonna push, like, don't make any sudden moves. I'm in a very bad mood right now. And I tend to get a little bit twitchy when I'm in a bad mood.
Okay.
Call your men off, and I will call my men off.
Okay. He again rasps directly into the side of your face. Death is not something that I fear. Your threats are moot. And you feel his hand grab something and yank down. And you feel like near like the side of your neck a snap as whatever was on his chest, this medallion that you brushed against, is yanked off of him. The twine snaps. You drag your blade across his neck. Go ahead and roll. I will give you a. I will give you. Actually, no. You know what? I'll just give you the attack. What does the damage do for your medium weapon? I assume.
It's a sword.
I think it's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's medium. Yeah, it says 4.
Okay. You do 4 damage to this guy. I'm gonna call that a crit, which is an additional 4 damage. 2, 4. You drag this blade across his throat, and in doing so, it's sort of like he crumples to the ground, and you hear this, like he crumples like down to his knees, and you hear this like disgusting gurgle coming out of this guy. It's not the sound that happens when you slit a throat. It's not the gasping, rasping final breath. This is a deep, throaty, gurgling chortle. This guy is laughing at your act and is as it like just blood splatters out of him. You see him like he has one hand on the ground, both knees on the ground. You see him drag his left hand up to his neck, and you see him reach forward with that same medallion.
Can I knock that out of his hand, like take his arm off or something?
You can. Go ahead and roll me a speed, difficulty 5.
So if I want to spend effort,
you would subtract.
Cost me 2.
Yes. Yep. 2 for the first one, and 3 for any subsequent.
Difficulty 5. Effort 1. Success.
Okay. You slice off this guy's arm. I'm gonna do another 4 points of damage. You slice off this guy's arm. The arm sort of falls to the side. You see that in his hand, still kind of gripped around this thing, is a medallion that bears like the open jaws, like a maw of wolf teeth. As it sort of clatters and splats in the mud, you see the fingers release. Korax, what are you doing?
panicking, Mike.
Great.
Question for you. So Corax would have taken 3 damage from that arrow.
Correct.
Armor, how does that work? Is that
Reduces the total number of damage. So if you have 1 armor, it reduces it to 2 damage.
Okay. Can Corax see where that has come from?
It seems to have come from up and in front of you. A safe, intelligent guess would be the bell tower.
Corax is going to look to the bell tower. Oh, no, he's not going to do this. Yeah, he's going to do this. He's going to look to the bell tower. Does he see someone standing there?
You do not. It is too dark and high for you to see. You can assume someone is there. You can barely make out the outline of a bell.
Okay. In which case, Corax is going to make a move away from his current position to try and get somewhere where he is not in line of sight to that bell tower. He's going to run, basically. He's not going to dawdle across this space. He's going to run as quickly as he can to get away from line of sight.
All right, so you have 3 quickest options. The quickest options are on either side of the building, as close to the building as possible, so like running towards the building, or running back in the direction you came from. Those are the quickest, most covered paths you can take.
Right, okay. And just to double check, the Reconciliator was dead. We saw him as dead.
You can assume that.
Okay.
You saw him as not moving and being held up by people.
Okay. In which case, Corax is going to run towards their building.
Mm-hmm.
So not back the way he's come, towards the building, because Mina's there.
Left side or right side?
People. Right-hand side.
Right-hand side. Okay. So you dart past this Reconciliator. You dart past Antarius. You dart past this soon-to-be corpse. And you hug the right-hand side of this building. You see that there are 2 robed people in front of you on towards the far end of the building, which you did see them break off and head that way. But you kind of stick your way to the side of the building. You can't see the bell tower from this angle, and that means he can't see you. Meanwhile, we cut inside. Seydlitz, you are in the back of the room here. You have the door open. You hear something kerfuffle happening in there. You turn to see the crossbeam goes in, and you see that like Mina is trying to hold the door closed as you kind of stand in the open door of the back. And within seconds, Seydlitz, you hear the telltale sound of people running in mud towards your direction. You can kind of hear it on either side of the building. What are you doing, Seydlitz?
How's the progress of people getting out of the cages?
At this point, about half of them are out.
I'm funneling them out the door, and even though I hear it, I draw my sword, but my main focus is get these people out the door.
Okay, so you're getting as many people out. Are you inside the building, or are you outside the building?
I'm outside.
Okay.
At the door.
Yeah. As you step outside of the building, you see that 2 people from the left in robes, and you see that they have, so 2 people in robes sort of sweep outside from the left side of the building. They see you with a sword, and as you kind of regard them, you hear the booted steps through mud of 2 more people to your right, to your left. So 4 people have essentially flanked you on either side. And as you kind of look back and forth between these, you look into the building and you see a progression of people sort of running towards the door. But something else catches your eye. You see, perhaps it is a trick of the light. Perhaps it is, heightened senses of danger. You're pretty damn certain that pile of corpses moved.
Can I take it closer, like from where I am, without going towards it?
You can.
Can I take an inquisitive look?
You can. Because of the added pressure, it's going to be a higher difficulty. So it's going to be a difficulty 5. Investigation, something, assessing danger, maybe.
5. Definitely applying effort here. And another 20. Okay, is my roll 20 rigged?
Are you cheating? Are you cheating at the game? Are you
Holy
cheating?
shit.
That's the third 20 in a row.
Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Just keep rolling 20s, my guy. All right, dope. Yeah, so okay. Cool. All right, we've seen this before. We've seen this Seydlitz before, right? The hunt is on, right? Danger on all sides, and you see these two robed figures come from one side, and there's that action movie sequence of and your eyes lock to the other side, and then you see from your periffs the people moving. Your eyes back to the center, and you see something move. And as your eyes kind of focus, like eagle vision, right towards that thing, you see what looks like the torso, arms and head of a corpse lunge out of this thing and grab as if it's a living person is pulling themselves out of the corpse mound. Except as they lurch forward and grab the ground and try to pull themselves out, you see the corpse mound moves as they're pulling themselves along. They are pulling the entire corpse mound. You see another hand kind of shoot out. It is pulling itself towards the center of the room.
And I see this and I holler, everybody get the heck out of this building if you can.
Yeah.
To all these people. And it's like, I'm yelling this across. I'm making sure Mina hears it.
Yeah. Mina, you hear this inside the room. Korax, you're probably halfway across the building on the left-hand side. They just ducked around the corner. You hear this coming from Seydlitz, whose voice you can easily identify. And Terry's a little bit harder for you to hear. There is another cultist in front of you that is banging on the doors, trying to get in, and you're hearing this weird bleeding out guy laugh at you. But you hear some sort of shout happening from in the building. Not sure that you can tell who it's from, but you do hear a shout, like an emergency kind of shout, coming from in there. Mina, you hear this. What do you do?
Mina's been with Seydlitz for a while. He knows when Seydlitz gets stressed, things burn. So Mina is going to run up the mezzanine and start climbing the ladder.
Okay. Yeah, you sprint up the mezzanine, taking 3-4 stairs at a time, and you are at the base of the ladder. Again, you don't see anyone straddling the ladder hole. How are you climbing up? Are you doing shield overhead? What are you doing?
No, just as fast as you can get up there.
Okay. So hand over hand, boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
climb this thing 3-4 rungs at a time. Perfect, yeah. You are easily able to get your way up here. No one was expecting this. And you make your way out, and there is probably a 1.5 foot circular parapet, circular catwalk with a bell in the center of it. And you see pointing towards the right side of the building, if you're looking at the entrance, there is a bowman, bow drawn, looking over the side as if trying to find somebody that ran that way. His back is to you.
Mina will run and try to put a spear through him.
Go for it. Roll me a difficulty 2 attack, might attack, and you can have a bonus. End this guy.
Come on.
Okay. 7. Jesus. I forgot you're a monster. Yeah. So describe how you drive a spear through this guy.
Yeah, so the guy's obviously looking over the edge for a target. Mina just, as soon as he gets at the top of the ladder, cons onto him straight away and just leads with his spear straight towards him, aiming for the back of the legs or something like that.
Yeah.
Something that's going to put him off balance.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You get him in like the thigh, right? You just stab straight down into the thigh, and as you that squelch as you like pull the spear out, he like Wilhelm screams out of the tower. You hear the clatter, tiles break from the rooftop as he tumbles to the ground and splatters in the mud. You can only assume after that wound and that that fall, it's only a matter of time before he bleeds out. If he's not already dead. But you command the tower. What are you doing? Actually, now that you're on top of the tower, you can look down and you see from this angle what is looks like a corpse of a reconciliator. You see Antares with a blade drawn, the arm of some man, and a currently bleeding out man on all threes. And another person is banging at the door. You assume the same cultist that was banging on it from the inside. Or when you were inside.
Is there anywhere one else up here? Or was it just that
Just
one?
the one guy.
Yeah. So Mina will move to the front of the building where Antares and the cult leader are. And just see what he can see, I guess.
That's pretty much it. You see that scene, and you can kind of see outside, like the general terrain. You're higher than most things, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of reinforcements coming. There's no multiple knights. There's just this scene before you. So as you kind of look around and take that in, we cut over to Korax. Korax, you are running across the building. You see two cultists come around the side, and you hear Seydlitz's voice yell, "Everyone out of the building!" What are you doing?
Korax is looking for an open window or a broken window.
Most of them. Your pick.
Are they low enough that he can jump and grab onto one and sort of pull his head up to the right height to shout in?
You don't even have to. You can just stand up.
Oh, in which case he's going to get his head to one of the windows, lean in, and just shout, "Go through the front door, front door!" And he's going to push off and run.
GM intrusion. This is also the worst thing you've ever seen. So you're going to have a visceral reaction, or you can spend an XP and not have that.
I can't see a good reason not to have that.
Perfect. Yeah, free XP. Why not? So you get an XP, and you get to give one to someone else. Who are you giving it off to?
I'll give that to Antares. She needs to start a collection.
So you pop up, you grab on the edges of this window to shout, and again, as soon as you you get that wretched smell that you smelled before, but this is condensed. This is unlike anything you smelled before, and as you look around to see what is causing this, you see the poles, you see the people hanging by the hands, clearly dead. You see a small boy who is smashing locks and freeing people that were in cages. But most importantly, you see several mounds of corpses. And perhaps slightly more importantly, one of them is clawing and lurching its way towards the center of the room as it is pulling itself towards the front door.
Yeah, Korax is. He's not going to do well with that. Yeah, I imagine he goes through to shout in, sees all that, ends up turning, retching all over the floor. Maybe his boots. They've been through so much. When he can, he will shout in again to get through the front door. Maybe not stick his head in the window this time.
Okay. You did notice that this clawing mound of corpses is moving towards the front door, albeit very slowly.
Korax knows that Antares is there.
Okay.
So that is their best hope.
Yeah, and if anyone can take down a pile of corpses, it's Antares. They don't move very fast. So, you shout in. Exactly. You shout in towards the front door. Do you continue towards the back door, or do you double back towards the back door?
No, he's going to turn and head back towards the front.
Okay. Seydlitz, you hear this from inside the temple and from outside, because you're kind of outside in the doorway. You hear what is clearly Korax's voice shout, "Go towards the front door." And you see a bunch of the people that are running out kind of hesitate and look to you, and then you see them look to the window. They don't seem to know what to do. They are kind of looking to you for guidance, Seydlitz. So what are you saying to these people who have recently escaped?
If this shambling corpse pile is headed towards the front door, that's the last thing I'm going to tell these people to do.
Sure. Is that what you say?
I was like, get out the windows, get out the back door, just don't go over there.
Okay.
Ignore him.
Yeah. You see these terrified people scatter in random directions, because that's what terrified people do. They scatter in nonsensical directions. So they just kind of...
It's perfectly fine by Seydlitz at this moment, because he's got bigger concerns.
Yeah. As you kind of shout this, Seydlitz, you have... I assume you have your crossbow out? Or do you have your saber out?
I got my sword in one hand, I got my saber in one hand, my crossbow in the other.
Okay. You have 4 cultists who are seemingly advancing on you. These cultists each reach into their robe and each pull out a little dagger, like a kris, as they begin to advance on you. What are you doing here? Are you defending yourself? Are you stabbing one of them?
I'm going to be setting up very defensively on this one.
Okay. If you would like to defend as your action, you would get a +1 bonus to whatever the incoming defense rolls are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that's my best option.
Okay. Then in that case, I will take 4 difficulty 2 speed or might defense rolls, and you have an asset to each of them. If you roll 420s, I'm going to end the stream.
No, there's a 9.
Okay.
The 20 streak is over.
Okay.
Two successfully dodged.
Yep.
If I rolled 420s, I would quit, because I'd sit here and reset my whole thing. Like, okay, something's busted.
I've won. I've beat the algorithm.
And for me, that's no fun.
Right? One more speed. Okay, perfect.
Defended against
for you.
Perfect. So these 4 guys,
2 just barely.
you have your saber out, right? And they lurch towards you. It is the first blow. You realize these are not trained combatives. These are people with a kitchen knife, essentially, right? And you're easily clink, 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 easily able to knock the blows away, and dodge and maneuver and sort of parry with your saber easily enough against this, giving you the chance for a counterattack. What would you like to do?
I would like to attack the closest one with my saber.
All right, go for it. It's difficulty 2 attack roll. I think it's light for you. Okay. Yeah, so you, with the saber, you stab into one. Saber does, I believe,
4 damage.
4
it's
points
a
of
long
damage.
sword.
Yep. So 4 points of damage on this guy. You slash across him. You see him kind of dodge back. His robe sort of opens up, and you see blood seeping out. Not quite dead, but definitely wounded. You see one of his free hand is sort of clutching at his side where he stabbed. And we cut back past a Korax running towards the front of the building. We curve around and we see Antares. You are hovering over the corpse, or near corpse of a man. After all the shouting and all the bloodletting, the other robed person turns and looks to you. You see them think for a second, then hesitate, then hold both hands up and slowly try to sidestep away from you, as if to potentially start running away.
Yeah, as he's looking at her, she's gonna look right back at him, and she's just gonna kick the priest right straight and square in the back and face down into the dirt.
Yeah.
Or into the mud.
Yep.
And she's gonna stride towards him.
Okay.
And he's trying to
Yeah, he's definitely sidestepping. If you let him go, if he gets far enough away, he's gonna sprint for it.
Yeah, she's just gonna go, just get out of here.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and then she'll point her sword at him, like, with the intention of, if you don't get out of here, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. He 100%. Like there is pants-wetting fear in his eyes, and he sprints off towards the vague direction of like the main body of town, right? Like towards the main road. And he is gone within seconds, leaving you alone with this hooded guy.
Can I coup de grace him or?
Sure. Yeah. You want to just end him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Describe how you end him.
Yeah. After she kicks her boot into his back, and he like flattens out, and she's gonna head back to him because she had walked past him towards the guy, so she's gonna go back and kick the his limb. Oh, I almost said out of his reach, but you know what I mean. She's gonna kick the limb further away from him, and yeah, she's just gonna drive the sword through his back.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of kick his his behanded hand, and you sort of stab down, and you hear that that final rattle of air escaping the lungs through the stab wound, and he falls completely limp. You notice that the hand is still clutching that medallion of whatever the hell it is.
Can I pick it up like not? I don't want to touch it, but can I wrap it in like a cloth or something like that?
You can grab it by the strings. The strings aren't coated in blood. At least most of them aren't. So you can kind of like you grab it by the strings and you lift it up, and the hand is still coming with it. As you kind of like give it a jostle, and the hand kind of like splats to the ground. And as the hand sort of splats to the ground, that's when Korax rounds the corner. Korax, you see the hand fall. A cultist darting in a different direction, this leader guy dead, and the body of a Knight of Reconciliation on the ground. What are you doing, Korax?
He looks to see the doors still have not been opened.
Correct.
And they were barred by Mina. So he's kind of expecting that everyone's going to go running through. And when no one does, he turns back.
The direction?
Runs up to the nearest window. Yeah,
okay.
Runs up to the nearest window and tries to jump through it.
Okay. Yeah, you run towards the nearest window, and you easily can just pull yourself in and sort of launch yourself through. As you begin to pull yourself, you see that the people are running like scattered chaos. There are several people like jumping out of windows, and you can see as you pull yourself in through the back door, you see that there's sink. There is Seydlitz fighting off 4 stabby cultists.
He just shouts through, "I said the front door," and if he can get to the door, his goal is to reach there and open it.
Okay.
Basically,
yeah. You grab onto the sides of the windows. You pull yourself through. Again, hit with that wave of stench as you run towards this thing, and you see that there is a large center block of wood that is there, a large crossbeam. It is, I believe, a difficulty 4. Difficulty 4 might to try to lift that off.
Yeah, that's unlikely.
You do it?
Nope.
Nope. So you kind of plant your feet, you kind of grab on either side of it, and you don't squat. That's not going to happen for you. You try your best to do that. Again, Mina, you hear from now inside the church, "I said the front door," clearly in Korax's voice. Then you hear pathetic grunting noises coming from inside the church. You did see the final act of Terry's murdering that guy down there as you were sort of looking down over the scene. What are you doing, Mina?
Mina will have a quick look around, looking for the telltale signs of smoke coming from anywhere.
There doesn't appear to be any smoke at all. It's the weirdest thing. Perhaps Seydlitz is
Mina
dead.
is so confused right now.
Yeah.
So he'll run back up to the tower and just make his way down the ladder.
Okay, yeah, you easily just, in fact, you can probably do that cool, like, slide thing.
Yeah.
As you land right above Korax's head and a heavy thump on the mezzanine. Do you want to continue with a cool superhero flip over the mezzanine?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Absolutely.
He'll just slide down.
For a super awesome movement thing, you can easily like
Flips
jump
over
down.
the mezzanine into the corpse pile.
Yeah, it's consumed. You jump down and splat kind of behind Korax, spear still in hand, and you see him basically holding the door closed at this point is what he's doing. It's like the only person worse at it could have been Dreshin or Arua is really what it comes down to. So you see him trying his hardest to open that door.
Yeah, he'll just look at Korax. Need a hand, or are you good?
We need to open the door.
Okay. There
And
seems
Sarah's
to
out
be.
there. She's already killed everyone. So
So why do we need to open the door then?
the old man's fighting at the back. He shouts and he just thumbs back towards Seydlitz.
I would think at that moment when he points back, Mina would turn around and just see this big shambling corpse.
Yeah, say
pile.
does Mina turn around to see Seydlitz fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're opening the front door when Seydlitz is fighting out the back, and as Mina's saying that, he'll kind of turn towards and point towards the back and see that.
Yeah, you see that
Monstrosity.
shambling monstrosity like pulling itself towards you. This mountain of corpses moving towards you.
We should probably end that, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to get the lady with the big sword.
Mina kind of waves the spear. What's wrong with this?
Korax reaches, angrily just reaches into his cloak and pulls out his dagger. I can't help you. You want her to help.
His apple dagger.
Mina will just go over to the door and
Pairing name.
try to open that up.
Yeah, the two of you with with 1 1/4 adult men, you can lift that up. So you easily that thing up there and kind of toss it to the side. And the doors kind of they the doors, one of them opens and the other one thuds probably about a foot out. And sort of gets mud caked up underneath it. Doesn't seem to go any further. And Terry, as you see the door open, and the other one dunk into the head of the cultist that you killed. You open the door, Korax, and you see that Antares is standing there holding the medallion.
Yeah,
Toy.
she's gonna put it on her her belt and then kick the limb further away from her.
Mm-hmm.
And then stride towards the door.
Yeah, you kind of like...
Shall we go?
Perfect. You kind of like roll the body out of the way so the door can open a little bit further. And then as you stride towards the door, that's when you see the same thing. This shambling mound of dead bodies is crawling towards you, Korax, and Mina. Like a body will snap out of it and like pull itself across the ground, and the whole mound will move behind it. Or a limb will move, or you see like one lone leg step forward and drag the whole mound with it. Oh yeah, you also see other piles of corpses. You also see the poles with the humans on them, and you see a bunch of cages where a small boy is smashing them with a hammer and trying to free the people that were in here. And scattered chaos of people running around.
But keyword being freed boy, so he's
Yes.
free. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a hammer and he's smashing the locks.
Okay.
What are you doing?
She'll slow down when she sees the scene, and then she sees this corpse pile pulling itself it's coming towards us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what have you guys gotten yourself into this time? I said stay in the safe house. She's that last part's more like under her breath, and she's like, oh. Where's Seydlitz? He's not with them, right?
You can see out the back door, like as you say, "Where's Seydlitz?" You hear like, "Ugh, God, cling, cling, cling," and you see Seydlitz has his saber out and he is fighting off 4 cultists.
Ooh. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. Pointing to the corpse pile. We should get out of here.
We can't leave that thing to run amok in the town. People will die. We need to kill that thing.
Is that-
End it.
Is the amulet glowing at all?
Nope.
Okay. Hmm. Do we have any kind of fire?
Seydlitz is out the back.
Damn it. She's just gonna be like, "Argh!" She'll run past them and attack this pile of bullshit.
This pile of bullshit. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. As you awesome. As you run towards this corpse mound and attack it, roll me. You kind of like push past everyone, roll towards this thing, run towards this thing. Roll me a difficulty 6 attack. The face that Snow just made. As he did the math.
Flashback.
3 times 6 is no.
Can I hit that? Because this whole system is kind of confusing to me.
The system is, the difficulty is, the number I say times 3 is the one you need to roll on the d20. So 3 times 6 is 18. You need to roll an 18 or higher to hit it.
Okay. And can I... Sorry, I have effort 1, and I spent an effort. So can I still spend effort?
You can spend effort every turn until your pool is empty.
Okay,
or you die.
So
or both.
I have 3 edge in my might, so I can spend an effort for free.
You can spend 1
right?
effort for free.
Okay. And it said difficulty 6?
Difficulty 6.
Intimidating. Ooh. Effort 1. Ugh. Nope.
Unfortunately, you don't know where to stab.
Yeah.
Like, you're just stabbing mounds of gooey flesh. Nothing seems to be doing damage to this thing for whatever reason. Perhaps because it's already dead. Who knows? Certainly not you. As you stab with your short sword, trying your best to find some vital anything on this creature, but you are making your best effort. We cut across in the direction you're running towards Seydlitz. Seydlitz, you have 4 more speed defense attacks coming at you, difficulty 2. If you could make those for me. And then if you'd like to attack, feel free to just roll your attack right into that.
Difficulty 2. Yay! Nothing like people trying to stab you with kitchen knives.
You know, sometimes you got to use what you have. Right, Korax?
Yep. Sometimes Mina gives
Only
you a
if there's
knife to cut your apples, and you have to use that.
Only if there was a button where I could just roll all 4 at once.
All right, that'd be useful. While you're rolling that, because it does take a hot minute there, Mina, what are you doing? Are you headed towards the old man or towards the corpse pile, or both?
All right.
Can
3
I get
successes,
to
1
the old
fail.
man without going past the pile?
You can get to the old man, and that would end your turn. You couldn't attack and get to him.
So Mina will probably head towards the pile and try to use a control the field to at least get behind it so that he can maybe get to the old man next turn.
Okay, yeah. So you are starting to run towards this. Seydlitz, you take 3 damage minus any armor that you have on you, and you're welcome to make your attack on the cultists as well.
What difficulty for my own attack?
2. These guys are 2. Perfect. Are you attacking the same one from before?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna focus 1 target at a time.
Perfect.
So...
Yeah, so block. You take the attack as an opportunity to like finish the other guy off. As you're doing it, like someone kind of nicks your ribs, enough to cut through your shirt and sort of cause a little bit of pain there, but not enough to do too much to you. As you sort of
3 damage to my might pool.
Yes, minus any armor that you have.
I don't have armor. So...
Okay. Then that guy slides off the end of your saber, and the camera kind of watches through the door as Mina runs towards the corpse pile. And Mina, difficulty 6, control the field. Okay. And control the field allows you to move?
Well, it allows me to position the opponent. So probably in this instance, I would say it's more of me avoiding it
Yeah.
and getting behind it rather than moving a big pile of bodies.
Absolutely, yeah. So you dodge out of the way of everything, and you're able to get behind this thing and a half step away enough that you can sort of run towards the door on your next turn. Korax, what about you? It seems as though your plan of run through the big door is everyone's doing the opposite of that. They're running into the
No
big
one
door.
listens, Mike.
You know,
Does this thing look attacky? It's quite difficult to explain. Does it look like it's going to be something that's just going to keep grabbing at us? It's quite a slow moving.
it does seem to be
thing?
slow moving, but it is made up of a pile of limbs. That does seem that if it grabbed you, it would probably do bad stuff.
Okay, I think it appears slow enough
Mhm.
for Korax that he believes that they're going to be able to kill it without too much concern for themselves,
Okay.
for their own safety. He's going to run out of the front door,
Okay.
and he's trying to get to the body of the reconciliator. They have
Yeah.
big weapons.
You just turn. You take a step out of the door. He's there on the ground.
Korax is searching his body for a weapon, saying decent size rather than a kitchen knife.
Yeah, you find one. You find a very large weapon. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, you find a large two-handed sword.
Korax is going to take that and run towards the big pile of bodies.
Okay. Can you use a sword? I don't think you can. I don't think you can use that sword. I think so everything will be one step more difficult for you because you're untrained in heavy weapons.
He assumes that he's just going to have to hold it, and the weight of the sword is going to do all the work he needs it to do.
I mean, that's not a terrible assumption. Not factual, but
Probably
not a
gonna do
terrible
nothing.
assumption. I like where your head's at. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll say you can do that and get to, that's like, he was like right out there. So you're basically just picking up an item and running back there. I'll say if you would like to attack, you can as well.
Perfect. What would that be, a roll of might, I'm guessing?
It would be a might difficulty 6 with an inability, so it would be a difficulty 7.
Impossible. I will use effort. One effort on that. And the reconciliator, he looked definitely dead, I'm assuming. When Korax was grabbing stuff off him.
He did not. In fact, his eyes darted to yours as you were grabbing his sword. He did not seem to move and did not resist you grabbing his sword, but he seemed very much alive in whatever capacity that is for this guy.
All right, Korax will raise that in his next turn.
Okay. Let me see here. As you pick up this blade and you charge back to this thing, you kind of like maybe the momentum, right? You swing it up and try to bring it down, and as you swing this, you feel like a charge, like kind of course through you. This item itself appears to be in some capacity magical. As you sort of feel that tingle. You have no idea how to activate it, but you feel that kind of tingle, and you know that this item holds some kind of divine power, much like all magical things. As you sort of bring this thing down, you see corpses kind of separate, a few arms fall off to the side, no damage really seems to be done to this thing. And Terry's, it appears as though Korax has found a giant sword and has decided to join the fight. You are as shocked as he is. What are you doing? I think you are muted.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Is he hitting it?
I'm hitting is a relative term. He hit it in the way that you hit it. Yeah.
Lifted it and dropped it.
Yeah, he is
while holding it.
He's attacking it.
Yeah, she's as she's swinging wildly at this thing. She's like, we need to get all the survivors out of here and light this place on fire.
Okay, how do you do that?
I don't know. Do we have? Are there like torches around? Like, is it completely dark in here?
It is completely dark in here. There was somebody was trying to start a fire, but you don't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Is she telling someone to do that? Or is she just saying that out loud?
I think it sounds like said it out loud, right?
Yeah. She is saying it out loud that we need to, like, she's hitting it and like nothing is happening. Is what I'm getting from the narrative description here. It's like, we're gonna freaking be here all night. Lock it in and set this place on fire. Where's Seydlitz?
Okay. Is that your turn to shout out?
Can I actually make an attack?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah, difficulty 6.
Okay. I actually use my sword attack properly. Effort to damage.
So that's you can spend effort to the roll to like lower the difficulty of the roll, or you can spend effort to damage to make you do more damage.
So sorry. Spending effort on the roll to attack means I lower the difficulty. Is that what?
Yep. Every effort you spend makes it go down 1 difficulty track.
Ooh. Okay, I wasn't doing that, but I only rolled a 7.
You did difficulty -1. So it says, see how it says difficulty 6, effort -1, to final is 5. That means the difficulty was 5, which means you needed a 15 to hit it. But you rolled a 7. Sweet. 7 doesn't beat a 15. Yeah, that happens. Unfortunately for you, this is a nasty, nasty monster. And so I need all of you at once to make me a difficulty 6. Might or speed defense.
You say,
I'm gonna use
me
might.
too?
No, not you.
I'm gonna use might and apply effort. No. That's the first one of the
Oh no. Hey, we have a 20 in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay. Spend an XP, re-roll.
Because I didn't like that look on your face.
What?
So my difficulty 6, effort 1.
Rough, buddy. Rough. Okay. Oh, yikes. Okay, so you see hands, limbs, arms, feet kind of grab out and slash at you guys. Korax, for whatever reason, you deftly maneuver. Perhaps your propensity for running has taught you exactly when to anticipate danger and jump the hell out of the way. We'll discuss your major effect in a second here. Mina, same. You are easily able to. You are ready to run at the beginning. You're easily able to like just give yourself a little boost with your staff, your spear base, and dodge back and continue towards Seydlitz if you so choose. Meanwhile, Antares, who is kind of looking around, kind of stabbing this thing, looking for a way to cause fire, you are grabbed by arms that sort of like grab towards like your thigh, your calf on one arm, and they're pulling you towards this thing. You're going to take 6 points of might damage, minus any armor you were wearing. You are stuck, stunned, and you lose your next turn.
What does stunned mean?
You lose your next turn.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's it. Struck creatures are stunned and lose their next turn. You then see this thing like pulling you towards it, and you see a head out of the side of this thing, like it is trying to munch on your legs.
She's trying to lean away from it.
That is your turn. Mina, you see, you are easily able to get away from this thing, but you do see that Antares has been grabbed and is being pulled into the pile. There's still more ching ching slash noises from outside.
You just hear her swear, "Get this thing off of me."
Mina doesn't know what to do now. He kind of trying to work out. Seydlitz downed someone last time.
As far as
At
you can
least.
see, it seems like he's fighting one less person. There's a flurry of blows happening out there, so it's not super easy to tell, but yeah.
He doesn't look like he's struggling too much, though.
Correct.
So Mina will turn back to whatever this thing is and try to hurt it lots.
Okay, difficulty 6 attack roll. While you're doing that, Korax, I jumped over you. What would you like for your major effect to be?
I cannot think of anything that would work in a defensive situation.
Okay. It
Any
doesn't.
way to help Antares?
Sure. Yeah. Would you like to position yourself and pull her out?
Yeah, maybe that's what happens. Is he jumps back to get away from this thing.
Yeah.
And sort of ends up in a position where he can grab her from behind to
Yeah.
pull her.
Yeah. You sort of grab her
away
and
from
like
this thing.
yank her back as the grasp of this thing sort of breaks off, and perhaps the pulling of her out of this thing with the arms grasping towards her. That's when Mina stabs it with his spear, dealing 7 points of damage to this thing. Hell yeah. Okay, you squelch into this thing, suck the spear, sucks right out of this thing. That squelching noise, and we cut to Seydlitz.
All right, one's dead.
So if you're not doing anything different, it would be 3 speed attacks and 1 attack from you, I assume.
Well, I'm gonna obviously defend, but I'm thinking about something different.
Okay. Well, you can defend or attack. If you defend, it gives you a bonus to your ability to get hit, or you can attack.
I'm thinking of something else entirely.
Okay.
First, let me get all these.
Okay. Cool. So far, so good.
Do I need an intimidate skill to do that?
To intimidate?
Well, there's a 19.
No. So intimidating, having a skill just makes it less difficult to do the action. Being trained in it just means it's 1 step easier for you to do.
Well, with that 19, I would like to have a little bit of effect and roll an intimidate along with it.
Okay, so I will give you a +1 asset for the intimidate for that minor effect. What are you saying to try to intimidate these guys, and what's your desired effect?
I am going to knock the Chris out of this last guy's hand, and as the sword shines up, everybody's going to look up, and above Seydlitz's head is his nimbus.
Ooh. Okay. What does your nimbus look like?
So as he parries this Chris dagger or whatever out of the guy's hand, flies up over his head, a kind of shadow forms, and then it rolls into a circle, and there's a bright flash of silver into a full moon, and then a black shadow moves in, and it resembles the shape of a wolf with and it opens glowing red eyes.
Okay. Do you say anything to these guys?
Basically, I just shout, "Get lost!" in the essence of, you do not want to challenge me.
Okay. Yeah. I will say if you're pulling your nimbus out, you don't even need to roll. That happens. So you knock one of the daggers out of one of the hands. Shortly after, you hear the other 2 clatter to the ground, and the 3 of these guys run in all 3 directions. They splinter off away from this whole thing. And you turn back to the room, and you see that your allies are fighting this giant pile of corpses. Korax, because it's always you're the first to notice as you're kind of yanking Antares back. You glance to the side as you hear, "Get lost!" and you see this moon shining above Seydlitz's head as he turns towards the building, I assume. Seydlitz, are you heading into the church?
Yep, I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna help them get rid of.
Yep.
This
So you see this. You see this nimbus above his head, and you see him charging towards this thing to aid you guys. Korax, it is your turn.
Korax shouts to the others, "The reconciliator is still alive," and he he thrusts the sword into Antares' chest, the Reconciliator's sword.
Yeah.
And looks across to Mina. Do you have the thing from Gelvant? We might be able to get the Reconciliator to help.
Yep.
What?
Mina,
Saw that.
Mina will
I agree with that. What?
put his hand into his pocket because he's had it handy and just toss it to Korax.
He takes that and he's going to run to the Reconciliator.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Antares is like struggling with these Mr. Grabby hands and over here. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's struggling to get out.
He did pull you free.
He hands you
Oh,
the
he did?
Yeah,
reconciliator's
Korax pulls you
sword, I
free.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah, he
You got
pulls
the
you
sword
free
of the
and hands you
Reconciliator.
the Reconciliator's sword. And I messaged you. Yes. So, I believe that makes it your turn, Antares.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, "Son of a bitch," and she's gonna turn around and she's gonna, out of anger, I guess she's gonna raise this sword above her head, and she's gonna, at the nearest limb of this dead thing, she's gonna try smoting it with this big sword that she has.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so you raise this like hooked blade up over your head, and as soon as you do, you kind of cast this thing up, and as you yell "son of a bitch," you feel this surge of energy sort of rush through, like down your arm and across your chest like a lightning bolt, and you see Korax running towards the front of the building. A nimbus lights up above his head. One lights up above Mina's head. You see Seydlitz's on top of his head, and one lights up on top of yours as you bring this blade down on this thing, and a force of light kind of comes out of it as it meets this thing. As you cleansing strike with a Reconciliator's blade, dealing 10 points of damage to this thing.
Holy shit.
As it, you see a big cindered mark across the back, the top of this mound of flesh, as it sort of like sears into it. You see more corpses sort of pull and try to close this wound you just cut into this thing. It still seems to be alive, but you took a literal chunk out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone, I assume, is stunned for a second, but it is Mina's turn.
Mina is going to keep with the stabby stab.
Okay.
Oh,
And
man.
fail miserable.
Terrible luck. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you make with the stab. Seydlitz, you're able to get up to this corpse mound at this time, this crawling carnage. As you make your way up to it, what are you doing? You see now, as you're running towards it, you saw that bright flash of light, and you can see, undeniably, whether you deny it or not, you can see everyone else has a nimbus above their head, including Antares. Mina, you also see Antares' nimbus.
Seydlitz isn't denying anymore. He's just not paying attention to it.
That's fair.
He's not going to go up next to this thing. He's still going to keep his distance.
Yep.
And he is pulling out a torch out of his pack, and he is working on lighting it.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah,
And he's going to throw a lit torch at this thing.
absolutely. You drop to like one knee. You have the flint and steel out. You're trying to strike this thing. That'll be your turn to light that, and then on your next turn you'll have a lit torch. Meanwhile, Korax, you just saw this all happen as you were running towards the Reconciliator. Does that slow you, or how do you respond with that?
He will definitely stop in the door if there's this massive crash as Antares brings that sword down, the crackle of magical stuff in the air. He stops in the door and sees all those nimbuses above their heads, and he just smiles, and he stops in the doorway and just waits to see if that creature carries on moving. If it does,
It absolutely does carry on moving. It seems as though whatever Antares did took a big chunk out of it, but it is not that one blow was not enough to end it.
He continues his move to the reconciliator.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, you can
maybe
easily
not
get
the
to him
same,
in
but-
one turn.
Korax gets down on sort of rests above him and holds his collar. He says to him, "Look left for yes, right for no. Do you know what's going on here?"
Look left for yes, right for no. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
He his eyes narrow, and then you see his eyes look to the right.
So you don't know they were going to sacrifice you.
His eyes narrow again, like the answer is more complicated than yes or no. And then he and eventually lands. His eyes roll around, and then eventually land on no.
And his last question, if there's enough time, is: are you the only reconciliator here?
He hesitates, and eventually his eyes slide to yes. You do see, as you're answering eye-based questions, that after every question, his eyes reset to the top of your head.
Oh man. He is alone. He's got no weapons. Shit.
What did you do with your little paring knife?
No, the reconciliator. My thought is the reconciliator has no weapons.
Oh.
Other than the ones we give him, which means he's powerless. Korax is gonna jam
Just
the
mean he'd be dead weight.
carrying him would be. Korax jams the thing onto his chest.
Mm-hmm.
The Cypher to try and bring him back.
Okay.
Or at least allow him to move.
It is a cipher. I will allow it. Yes. Not the intended use of the cipher, but you're sacrificing a cipher, so I'll make that happen for you. He did not have any health loss. He was paralyzed. You stab this thing on him. You see the injector stab into his sternum, and you feel him as he his chest lurches, and you can see that he is capable of moving. And for a second, there's that tense moment of you're hovered over him, and he can move now. And there's that the camera eyeballs, right? To try to see what's gonna happen. And he kind of puts a hand on the ground and sort of lifts himself to his feet. And he looks to you and just wordlessly turns into the church. And you see him remove from underneath his the red cloak that is now draped in mud a large feathered shield as he sort of slides this thing on and stomps towards this monstrosity in the middle of the church.
Korax shouts as his last thing as the guy starts moving off. "You try and hit my friends and we will kill you."
Okay.
As he lets him go off.
He just glances over his shoulder, over at you, and continues towards this mound. Reaching the mound, he looks to Antares, and just reaches his hand out for his sword.
Oh, fuck me. What? Oh no.
What could possibly go wrong?
Hold on one second, G.
Oh. I feel like there's that silent moment where everything just goes silent around them, and then her and this reconciliator are standing there staring at each other. If there were crickets, they'd be chirping. Oh no.
Yeah, so he has his hand out for his sword and he's looking at you.
She gives him her old one.
Okay, so in your other hand, you hand him the mundane iron sword. There's a distinct grimace across his face, and he, like, as low and throaty as he can, he says, "I'll take that back when we're done." And he stabs into this thing. And we'll cut to, I think, Mina's turn.
Mina's single-minded, and we'll just keep stabby.
Hit him. I just want to know who's shady now. Korax, resuscitated, or reconciliator. You know? Hell yeah.
Could be worse.
Nice.
I assume you're going to go with that bonus damage.
Yeah, extra damage.
Okay. Perfect. That's 10 points of damage to this monstrosity. You want to narrate that awesome minor crit there?
Yeah, so out of the corner of his eyes, Mina's watching the exchange between Antares and the Reconciliator and kind of rolls his eyes because there's fucking work to be done and people are talking and fucking carrying on. And he just pulls the spear back and just finds the nearest head or two and just throws the spear straight through the middle of it.
Absolutely. With that sickening crunch of bone, it sort of pierces that hollow coconut sound. Seydlitz, that is you. You have a lit torch as you rise to notice, perhaps fully realize that there's now a reconciliator fighting amongst you. Seemingly with you.
Well, the more the merrier, I guess, at this moment.
Yeah.
Yesterday's enemy is today's friend.
Sure.
He's going to try to throw the torch into the corpse pile, and try to hit the center. See if he can set it on fire.
Yeah. You can for sure throw the torch on there. The mound is big enough that you'd have to roll a 1 to miss this thing. So you do, and there's a couple of clawing hands that sort of pull it in. It does not ignite on fire, but there is a torch on it. Unfortunately, unless a incinerant is applied, human corpses are not inherently flammable. So it will burn it eventually, but will not just engulf in flame. You'll need to accelerate that somehow. But it is on there, and I'll give you that as a free action to toss a torch. If you'd like to do something else with your action, you can.
See, it's gonna look around. Is there anything that you could use for burning?
It's scraps of cloth. There's probably curtains that were inside here that are moth-eaten curtains. There's shitty rugs. Everything in here would take a while to burn, unless you have some kind of alcohol or fuel source or an oil of some kind.
All out of spirits.
Yeah, lamp oil would work. Anything like that would help. But if you don't, then
I have none of it.
Okay. Would you like to shoot an arrow or stab it?
I will shoot an arrow.
All right. Difficulty 6.
Because I'm not getting close to this thing.
That's fair.
Sorry, it's still alive?
Yes, it is still alive.
That's a fail.
It is still alive and minorly inconvenienced by fire. That
One
is
short of actually succeeding.
That is everyone's turn. I need a difficulty 6 speed or might defense from Mina and Antares.
We're gonna go with might again. Come on.
Nice.
Thank God.
Nice. What would you like your minor effect to be, Snow?
The minor effect would probably be to maybe drive that torch a bit further in, so that there's no chance of getting it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as it lunges for you, you can take the base of your staff and sort of bop that thing so that the wooden haft sort of ends up inside this corpse thing. So now it's like a little candle. Absolutely. That brings us to Korax's turn. You like that candle? Birthday cake from hell.
The corpse candle, I love it. Korax is going to walk back inside. He's not running anymore.
Sure.
He's done what he needed to do. And he's going to cast Resonance Field.
On
Mina,
yourself? I think it only works on you, right?
It only works... So not Resonance Field. That's not the one I want. Protection, silence... Blessing the Gods, protection, silence, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
Creates a bubble of protection for 1 minute for everyone within immediate range. And he's going to basically move up behind the others.
Yep.
To sort of give them that extra level of protection.
Okay, and that gives them what, a bonus or an asset on defense?
Yeah, on defense.
Cool. Yeah, so you do that. You're muttering prayers again. You still see that everyone, because you're the observer here, right? You still see that everyone has their Nimbus is completely emblazoned in plain view of a Reconciliator. However, the Reconciliator does plunge down the shitty blade into it again, doing what you assume to be some amount of damage. And Terry's, what about you?
So this thing is still alive.
It is still alive. That is correct.
Okay. She is going to attack it.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to cleansing strike again?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This time, I'm going to have you roll for it.
Okay.
So it will be a difficulty 6. You have an asset for this weapon, and you can spend an effort if you so choose.
Mm-hmm. Asset. Okay, come on.
Would you like to re-roll?
No.
Okay. Perfect. We go to Mina.
Same again.
All right. Hit him up. Nope, that didn't work. That was your weapon,
Wrong
not
button.
your roll. Yeah, click that little dicey boy. Hell yeah, there we go.
Nice.
I assume the damage?
Yep.
Okay.
Extra damage all the way.
Yeah. Perfect. That goes to Seydlitz. Seydlitz?
If I can't find any immediate good ignition fuel, I'm just going to keep shooting.
Okay, shoot him up.
Sounds like we've entered the boring side of combat.
Those damn bosses.
I know,
Okay.
right?
Nope. You arrows. They stick in randomly. Doesn't seem to have any effect. Korax, you're maintaining your spell casting?
It's a one-off spell.
Okay. Then what are you
it
doing?
lasts for a minute. Korax is gonna do something weird, as he does. That actually should be a 10. So he is going to cast Blessings of the Gods, Authority, Law, and Peace, which basically stops a foe that can hear or understand you from attacking anyone or anything for 1 round. And he is going to do that on the Reconciliator. So as the Reconciliator goes in to hit this creature, Korax is going to stop him. And as he does, Korax just says, I told you, you try and attack my friends, and we will kill you. As he goes to attempt his attack on this creature, Korax stops him.
Is there a roll associated with this spell?
There's no roll.
Okay.
You prevent a foe that can hear and understand you from attacking anyone or anything for 1 round.
Okay.
And it costs me 1 intellect.
Yeah. Because you get that massive amount of edge in there. Okay. Is your desired effect intimidation? Is that what we're going for here?
Yeah, his desired
Okay.
effect is to make the Reconciliator realize that no matter what he does, he's not going to be able to just turn around and start attacking us. His
Okay.
job is to kill that. That's what Korax's intention is.
Okay. Intentions are fun. So you do that. As he goes to stab, you see his arm stone-like and unable to follow through with the finishing blow, thus making it Antares' turn.
Okay. I feel like she might even kind of hesitate, not hesitate for a moment, but she's gonna glance when she sees him stop mid motion. Then she's going to attack. One effort, one asset.
Yep.
How many buttons? Let's go.
Would you like to spend an XP?
I only have 1 XP left.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know it's fine, but I had a plan for it. Oh.
It's up to you.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to reroll.
Okay.
Sorry,
Mina, I believe that is you.
Same again.
Okay.
He's the only one taking this serious.
Yeah, right.
Everyone else is
Everyone else
fucking
is just
around.
messing around, doing their own thing, having story time, trying to make a campfire.
I'll do the extra damage.
Describe to me how
Holy
you
shit.
end this crawling carnage.
Yeah. So yeah, same as before. Mina's just fucking frustrated with all this fucking shenanigans going on around him when there's just something to fucking kill. And he just kind of, you can see the frustration building, and he just goes, fucking end this thing now. And he just drives the spear right into the heart of this monstrosity and probably follows through with his shield as well, just to get that extra effort.
Yeah,
in.
absolutely. You see this thing shudder and undulate as it and it just, you see it slowly slide down around your boots as whatever the meat that was making this thing up sort of sloughs off bone, and it slides into a pile of corpses again, an inanimate pile of corpses. You are left standing together with the most disgusting boots you've ever had and a temporarily trapped reconciliator. What are you guys doing?
Seydlitz is going to first
Can
speak
I-
up.
Can I do
All
what
right, everybody out the front door, please.
before
We got to burn
anyone
this
moves?
place to the ground.
Okay. Before anyone moves.
Just a quick check as to whether all the people are out of the cages.
Yes. Yes. You look around, they are out of the cages. The kid is gone. They're all gone. And Terry, as you were saying, before anyone moves,
Did
you
the
wanted to do
kid
something?
leave my hammer
Yeah.
and spikes behind?
Absolutely not. He stole
Dang
that
it.
shit immediately. And Terry, you said you were going to do something?
Yeah,
Oh,
as soon as he's as soon as this the corpse pile is dead and it looks like he's dead,
Mhm.
and Terry's just raises the two-headed sword, and she just lets out a cry, and she spins around, and it looks like she's gonna hit the pile again, but she does a spin and she takes off the head of the reconciliator. For an XP, of course.
Okay.
You let me do that.
Okay. All right. Oh man, that sounds so cool. I am torn between rule of cool and how many hit points that guy has. Which
But he's also held. He's also held.
He's not actually held. He's just can't attack.
Oh, true.
An
Yeah,
attack.
yeah.
You can still move.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can still move, and he has a defense of 8, is a difficulty of 8 to hit him. Ooh, I will say this. I will say, oh, Christ. How do I want to do this? That is such a cool move, and I don't want to deny that, but that is a big fucking guy. You're trying to take his head off with one hit.
If I can give Terry some XP, she can spend more.
I'll pitch in I'll pitch in an XP for that.
Okay. If I will say this, if everyone throws in an XP, that happens. That's what I'll say.
Done.
So 4 XP get burnt. And Terrius, describe how this happens.
Exactly how I said.
Okay.
So she picks up, she raises the sword, and like her eyes don't even shift. She doesn't even like blink or second thought it. As soon as this thing looks like it's dead, it looks like she's gonna go attack it again, and then she spins it around and then comes and then clean right off.
Okay.
Like Aragorn taking the head of that orc guy.
Yeah. The orc guy. Yeah. So he is standing there. The blade clean through. The momentum of the blade. The head sort of lobs to the side. It hits the ground. Almost simultaneously, the knees in the big metal leggings hit the ground, and the shield slides off his arm, and the thing flops to the side. And as soon as the body flops to the side, you feel all of the energy drain from that sword. And you just have a mundane sword again. But you have the sword, and technically you have full heavy armor of a reconciliator, if you so choose, and a big old shield. However, it is distinctly the armor of a reconciliator.
It says Reconciliator.
Yeah,
of the year on it.
It says Team Reconciliator, and it's like 01 is his football jersey number. So you swipe this head off, crumples to the ground, and that's where we end this episode. Yeah, that's what happens.
You're
Perfect.
not letting me burn the church down.
Perfect. That is what happened. Well, your torch is in a corpse pile, so it's kind of moist now.
It'll burn it down eventually.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So that is the end of this episode. Unironically, you nailed the title of the episode completely unintentionally, rather, not unironically. The episode title was "It All Comes to a Head," and that's perfect. That couldn't have been better if I planned it. So we'll go around, do our introductions, get the hell out of here, do our after show, and we'll talk about what the hell just happened. So starting on the bottom left of this corner, we'll go with Chris. Necro, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Hi, Chris, aka Necro. You can find me in the Discord. That's all, just the Discord, nowhere else.
Hell yeah. Snow, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Norm or Snow. Same as Necro. You can find me in the Discord and very, very rarely anywhere else.
Okay. G.
Hi, my hands are sweaty. I am Lightning Invoker in Discord and on Twitch. That's where you'll find me mainly, is on the Discord. And for the Patreon games and for Patreon one-shots and for the Atari Twilight Twist of Fate game. And Lightning Spaz09 on Twitter.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And last but not least, Matt, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You can find me here at the Patreon games on YouTube on D-173. Post random crap there. Or in Mike's Discord.
Hell yeah. So that'll be it from us. Thank you so much for being here, for hitting that corruption bar, and for enduring this combat. Where that was tense. That was a tense time. So if you are a patron, go stick around on our Patreon for some after shows that are coming out today, and enjoy those. But for now, we will see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye bye.